teach you at Y Combinator about failure is failing forward. Is there a party tonight that I'm inviting you to? Is there a party that I'm inviting you to tonight? Yes! It's a party for people that were rejected from Y Combinator. Is this a flattering angle? It doesn't matter, because the angle that we're going to be thriving in is this video for the first time you're interacting with me in a live setting. I'm Larry Chang. How are you? It's really terrific to first meet you because we've never met before. And if you're wondering what a ABC is doing with an ABCD in a cowboy hat, you haven't met Tom Brady, my American born Chinese dog. Oh my God, is this going to be stand up? Yes, because this is going to be the 650th iteration of my delivering my mentor's message to you. Oh, but why can't you just use your own thoughts and your own words for this video? Because my mentor, chapter 11, failing forward. While I mention mentors from Y Combinator, what are we doing? What are we doing? All this energy, where's this directed to? It's directed into getting you into Stanford in the summer for a class, technology entrepreneurship. Oh, but I need to apply. Oh, we're going to apply. We're going to apply while you apply a pen to paper. Engineering 145, hashtag ENGR 145. You feel the energy on this video? Feel like it's going to be amazing? Well, guess what? Triple your guesstimates as to where this video is going to go. Triple them. In fact, quadruple them. Oh, I'm going to click away because his style is, he's too trash talky and he's got too much testes. Okay? That's why the video is pointed at the angle that it is. My testicles are normal sized. I'm just taking my IQ of 88 and I am now giving birth to how the third institution of Silicon Valley was born. In one sentence, what are we talking about? We're talking about winning technology entrepreneurship for $9,000 that I'm selling you to go to Stanford and apply in the summertime by making $9,000 before you go to Stanford. That's it. That's us winning at a party tonight at 6:30 p.m. if you live in the Bay Area. If you can come, RSVP on Luma. If you don't have an invite and you're at Y Combinator, just show up, YC. Just show up, especially if you're a celebrity, blah, blah, blah. That's a VC. We, in this video, are going to go from 0 to Stanford University. Not full-time, just in the summertime. What's up? Thank you for rejoining me as we focus on 0 to $9,000. Why $9,000? Because it's going to cost you $9,000. Are you going to borrow this money from your Asian uncle that you're not related to? No. Are you going to ask your rich parents, fifth generation money? No. Did I explain to Gary Tan just now what it means to have generational wealth via his book recommendation? That actually never explains it. Gary Tan, who is spot on right now, coding money, which is what they don't teach you at Y Combinator, is congratulations, you learned how to code at the University of Illinois, okay? Can you code up Maverick Hanley and Maverick Hanley's leadoff hitter status, right? Look, look, look. Maverick Hanley, engineering major, bio, bio, biomechanical bioengineering major. I didn't study bioengineering, so it doesn't roll off my tongue. Professional baseball player, Baltimore Orioles organization. Can you code up $9,000? I think you can. I think you can. Do you see how we're going from 0 to 2 while we go 0 to 9K? While we hashtag 0 to 2, while we do Stanford Technology Entrepreneurship 145, because tonight is a party for rejects. You got rejected to Y Combinator. You thought you could have gotten in, okay? Are you going to just now give up? Nope. Thankfully, you met the, oh my God, I can't believe you're that tall in person, Larry Chang, at a party for failures tonight, 6:30. Oh, but I can't fly there, but I want the information. That's the right answer. Except if you're at Y Combinator, you actually want to embrace the losers bracket. Oh, does this sound like chapter 11 of Mark McCormack, Failing Forward? Oh, yeah, it really does. Can this benefit you? And how? Here's how. There are 20 lectures sitting at Chad and Steve's website. There are 20 lectures. Have you mastered them? Not quite yet. How are you going to study them now? Slightly better than what you would have done, right? Which is PQRST, the 20 lectures before you spend $9,000. Because guess what? You spend $9,000 and Rebecca Huang is just going to paste copy Chuck Easley's 20 lectures. Chad and Steve's website, YouTube, where we study those 20. We make $9,000 by lecture number 2 if you're taking the Larry Chang version of Engineering 145. But let's say Chuck Easley goes slightly slower. You'll at least make it by the end of lecture 9, business model, or lecture 11, distribution. Is that my pinned tweet on my X? Yes. Yes. Another pro baseball player previewing what to expect out of Engineering 145. Look at the get rich quickers who are on YouTube. Look at them all. They're talking about what YC talks about, which is what 99.999% of humanity talks about, which is dollars 4 million to 2 billion. Look at all of entrepreneurship content, all of startup advice, all of everything everywhere, nothing to get us off of $0. If we're being honest, negative $1,500 to $600,000. Negative X to positive Y. Is this lecture 5? Sam Altman, Peter Thiel? Yes. You are not a lottery ticket. Lecture 5. Lecture 2. Paul Graham. Different class, same energy. Doing things that don't scale. PG had such a hard time with lecture 11, distribution, chapter 6, what they don't teach at Harvard Business School, that he had to change his lecture title from his essay, Do Things That Don't Scale, to Startup. He literally changed his own lecture title, Sam Altman, Lecture 2, CS 183B. How well is this knowledge coming through? Clearly, because if you're in the losers bracket, this is how to win in the winners bracket, where YC is throwing offers at you in the same way that women throw putty. This is what happens when millionaires and hot girls determine, oh my God, we need this. We can progress forward if we leave the number 0. Good thing for you, we have now met person to person. And the ostentatious true thing, which is also comedic, is I am the third institution of Silicon Valley because I'm the one who's going to help you fail forward tonight at 6:30, and I'm the one decoding how to code and program your 4 brains to learn at Stanford Engineering. 4 brains? You don't have 4 brains. Does anybody have 4 brains? Brain 1, your shitty brain, okay? Your crap brain. I used to have a crap brain, University of Illinois, until I met Augie Garrido, until I met Mark McCormack. Now my brain is slightly better because I paid the price of having lost. What is going on tonight is 6:30 p.m. We are hosting and producing and promoting Rejected by Y Combinator. What are we going to do to mitigate the sting of being in the loser's bracket? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? We're going to go from 0 to $9,000 as we get into Stanford Engineering summer program. Yes, you have to apply. Yes, the class is taught by not this guy, by Rebecca Huang, who's encouraging you, me energetically barking at you, to study lectures 1 through 20 from Chuck Easley. Is this a shout out to Paul Graham, who taught lecture 2? Not quite succinctly, because it was do things that don't scale. Did he talk about his own topic in his allotted 60 minutes? He did not. He did not. That's why he had to rename that lecture. Did he, Paul Graham, quote from lecture 11, Engineering 145? Did he do Engineering 145? Lecture number 11, Chuck Easley or Rebecca Huang? This is what we're doing in a sentence, in case you're confused at too much energy, right? Which is, we are going to make $9,000 before we spend $9,000 to go to Stanford and apply for Technology Entrepreneurship Engineering 145. Because what they don't teach you at Y Combinator and the genius things that Justin Kahn and Jason Chen talk about, which is how do I sell 10? How do you go from 0 to 2? Is doing your first distribution dinner slightly impossible? Are you going to wait for Shelby Sapp to keynote at 310 Pioneer? Because guess what? Shelby Sapp shipped her first video, and her timeline to keynote at Y Combinator is going to be W37 or S39. This is inside Y Combinator speak for winter 2069 or spring of 2068. Is YC going to be the most interesting thing you've ever done in your life? No! This is going to be the most interesting thing you've ever done in your life, because you're like, wait a minute. Normally I pay $900 and then I get ripped off. Normally that's how it happens. We are not doing that this time. We are doing $9K before lecture 1. How does the math work? This is Miami math. Shelby Sapp words into my ears, out of my mouth. This is the math. Magical, awesome Miami math. If Miami attracts you, lean in. Sheryl Sandberg, pun intended. We are going to walk through this math. This is what happened when I taught Stanford engineering. I said, how much is this class costing you? And people were like, oh, what are you asking me? Not the athletes that are sitting in the back who are on a full ride. How much is this class costing you? People are like, I don't know. What if this is lecture 1, Engineering 145, Technology Entrepreneurship with Larry Chang. What if by lecture 2 we got return on investment? What if by lecture 2 we got full return on investment, and if you're a athlete sitting in the back row, pretend like you had to pay $250,000 to come to school. So it's going to be thousands of dollars. How are we going to get our money back? Because money's at risk right now. Here, there's no money at risk. What if you were to make $9,000 before you spend $9,000? Because this is how you do it. You go to a venture capital party and you go from crasher to VIP. You sell 2 things that already exist. This is what YC needs, is they need you to sell 10. Is there any advice on how to sell 10? Sort of, but it gets deleted. Justin Kahn, who's guilty of deleting awesome blog posts about getting off of $0? I'm not going to beat the dead horse of Peter Thiel 0 to 1 because he doesn't explain. Well, technically Blake Masters, who wrote the book, didn't explain how to go from 0 to 1 billion, let alone 0 to 1 million. Plot spoiler, no plot spoiler because it's actually not even in the book. Plot spoiler, winning spoiler, PQRST spoiler, which is preview, question, read, summarize, test spoiler, which is Peter changed one word to start his first business. He started Harvard Law Review. Actually, he didn't start that. He started Stanford Law Review. Do you see how I get the 2 juxtaposed? Oh, from the same guy who did what they don't teach you at Harvard Business School, what they don't teach you at Stanford Business School. Where's your book, Larry? You seem like a fraud. You seem like you're a salesman. Well, do my engineering awards dilute my entrepreneurship specific bibliography via this video? No, it doesn't dilute it. It doesn't. It does not. And that's why we get to win, because who even looks up Chuck Easley on Chad and Steve's website? Who does? You do, because you want $9,000 of value now. Who is going to sell $9,000? Bell curve, indeterminate. This is why on Insta, I am the DEI whisperer, delivering excellent information for when we get opportunities that we did not deserve, right? Let's be honest. We got some of these opportunities because we're the token 6'5", 209 pound, 94 mile per hour basketball shooting guru, having won an Olympic medal, and then that's who Stanford recruits. Or people with high degrees of entrepreneurship promise. How do you determine entrepreneurship promise? Everyone's got extracurriculars, right? Well, we determine the promise by measuring what VCs do for analysis, which is, have you sold a company? Have you sold a company? Have you sold a lemonade stand business? Have you sold 10? This is the math continued for what to expect, how things might turn out, previewing, questioning, reading, summarizing testing, and that is this. There's a party tonight, 6:30, for rejects of YC. And there's a famous VC in the Austin area that's going to be producing an event for Y Combinator rejects that then Y Combinator is going to be incredibly excited in thinking about collaborating with, doing potentially a distribution dinner. Because Shelby Sapp might not be speaking at 310 Pioneer during Tuesday dinners until early March. Am I DEIing a hot blonde for Hot Girl Entrepreneurship Club right into another franchise, what they don't teach you at Y Combinator via the third institution of Silicon Valley? Yes, 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 and more yes. What action can you take now as a founder who just said to themselves, $9,000, $9,000, in the last 9 generations of my poverty family, we haven't made $9,000 total, right? Larry, you're such a passport bro. What makes you so awesome? What makes me so awesome is that America is the third world country that I passport bro at. That's America. Because I look at a female under 30 years old talking constantly about 6 foot tall, 6 figures, and 6-pack and 13 inches of dick, right? With, have you thought about the fact that you will, income earning wise, female under 30, by the time you turn 30, you will not make 100K total. How real did this conversation just get? Not real enough, because 9K is actually not very much money, even though you're from poverty in that Pakistani trip that all these tech VCs went on. How are we going to make 9K? Software is eating the world, and you can't pick up 9K? This is how we're going to do it. We're going to find a problem that is 100K. We're going to find a problem that is 100K. And then we're going to confirm that they know that that's a problem for them. And then we're going to solve that problem using LCRRM. But step 1 is we're going to external API. Boom! This has been a great video. This has been a great video. And you're welcome. And you're welcome. I know all these accolades, all these thank yous, all these thank yous, all these thank yous. Yes, if you're truly thankful, send a Tiffany gift. Yeah, you want to get into Y Combinator? You're going to need to work the losers bracket because that hilarious Replit CEO Rickroll. Is that inside YC enough for you guys? Heck yeah. Hunting for a problem, confirming that the problem has money that is difficult, and then shooting the shot where you don't have risk. Where you don't have risk of, you don't have risk. Where you don't have risk. What am I doing while I'm doing this? This is my left, this is my right. I'm working my offhand because what they don't teach you at Y Combinator is what they do teach you at Tom House, which is equal and opposite. That's why Quinn Matthews, cover page of Duck 9, is my mentor, because Tom House has a great quote for the venture capital community. It goes like this. What they don't teach you at Y Combinator, Tom House. Invite him to speak for YC dinners on Tuesday night. which is this: entrepreneurship. It's a game of failure judged by negative people in a misinformation environment. I did not introduce Tom Brady to Tom House. What they don't teach at Y Combinator. I did not. Matt Castle, USC alumni. I'm not even a Stanford alum. I'm just the third institution of Silicon Valley holding no degree conferred from Stanford and no YC direct relationship. Running the code of YC by breaking it into 5 books that Roger Hollander now is under promoting, which help you duck bankruptcy. Fatality rate at YC currently 80%, dropping to less percent when they invite Shelby Sapp to keynote. Door-to-door salesperson who sells pest control. Am I going to keynote at YC? If you pay me $35 million, I'll add you on LinkedIn, and then we can talk about the YC keynote. Because guess who already spoke at YC that you guys didn't value? My one LinkedIn contact, Rolf Botha, right? He's speaking. Why don't you, before he speaks, why don't you look up his previous keynotes? Did I just help you get into Stanford University for a class that you need to apply for just to attend in the summertime? Yes. Will I write a recommendation letter for you if we're related? Fuck no. Am I being mean to you? No. This is generational wealth explained. Gary Tan, that book that you recommended, Generational Wealth and Generational Wealth Building, I added addendum chapters. I get it. You're a billionaire. But that book has holes. What is this hole filling? Not with this basketball, okay, that I'm treating like it's a baseball with a ball fake, right? I'm not doing that. What I am doing is solving your money wealth issue of you don't need money to make money. So stop asking to borrow money. And it's not like I have giant balls, which is why this angle is at it is. I've got regular sized balls. I just do PQRST. So that way you can get your ROI for your return on investment. This is how you can get your 9K. This is how you can get 9K. 2 hands. This is how you can get 9K as you go 0 to 2. Tonight, 6:30 p.m., Y Combinator Reject Party at South by Southwest. A YC Reject Party, TBD. What they don't teach you at Y Combinator about failing forward.